absolutely beautiful Cancerian friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2021. For Cancer this month, we have got a solar eclipse to pair up with that lunar eclipse that we had in May. We'll also see Mercury coming out of retrograde, Jupiter and Neptune both stepping into retrograde, and the second of three Saturn-Uranus squares that are bringing some tension, frustration to the table. But all in all, I'm going to tell you, it's a busy, movable month as well. We're coming into birthday time for Cancer. So almost happy birthday. I'll tell you when we get to the 20th, okay? All right, my Cancerian friends, let's get in here and talk about what's going on this month. Right at the beginning of the month, Cancer, we've got Venus moving into the energy of Cancer, so lighting up your first house space. As Venus comes into the first house, typically we find ourselves feeling like we want to beautify. In some way, I want to clean up my appearance. Oh, my birthday is just around the corner. What do I want to do? What's my new look? I want to beautify my out or external spaces. Venus in and of itself, even if you're not making those changes, brings a magnetism to you. Now, it's not just a magnetism that's like making you feel or look glowy or giving you a little sense of something. It actually makes you very appealing even at a public level as well. So with Venus in the energy of Cancer, if you are taking yourself out into the world or whatever you're doing in your life, you do have a sense of that benefic Venusian energy available to you. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of your annual magnetism that'll be in your sign and in your energy until June 27th, okay? Now on the 10th, we're going to have this new moon solar eclipse in the energy of Gemini at 19 degrees. Now this is, I think, such an important theme happening for you this year, Cancer. So this particular new moon solar eclipse is where we're going to plant our seeds of intention to begin something new in this particular area of your chart, which is the 12th house space. So the hidden things, the rest, rejuvenation, relaxation, spirituality is the thing I really like to credit the 12th house for, because it's a place that walks in between the worlds. Now, just back in May, we had a lunar eclipse in the energy of Sagittarius, which would have lit up your 6th house space. So as we look at this 6th house, 12th house axes for you this year, Cancer, one of the things I think is really critical is getting on top of what your daily spiritual practice is in your life. What does this look like? What are your daily health practices which do not leave out the spiritual feature of your being? What is happening to your daily practice and your daily schedule to make sure that you are navigating towards really making sure that you are connected with that place in you that none of us can see? You can only tell us if it's healthy or not, if you feel connected, if you feel grounded in. As well, I do think that this 6th house, 12th house axis has a lot to do with what we can reasonably be in control of and which we can't be in control of as well. So as this particular new moon is happening and lighting up this 12th house space for you, one of the things that I think happens is this is a fresh start for you. It's a fresh beginning of your mind. Gemini, a very mental place of where I think you're starting to really come to an understanding that you've got to take care of this spiritual feature, that you've got to be letting go of baggage, of things that just you didn't cure them, you didn't cause them, you can't cure them, you can't control them, right? It's this kind of sweet energy here in the 12th house space that's allowing you to shed the spiritual weight, trim some of that spiritual fat that doesn't belong there anymore. And this is a willingness. This is a fresh start for you. Mercury is getting support from Saturn at this particular eclipse. Now, Mercury and Saturn are both retrograde, so you've seen it. You've been here before. I think that whatever has been in this quiet space for you, whether it's been something highly creative or it has genuinely been something spiritual, Cancer, I think that your mind steps into a space of willingness to have like a spiritual surrender here so that you can really live, so that you can really travel. Jupiter has also moved into the energy of Pisces, and it is going to go retrograde retrograde this month, but at this particular eclipse, Jupiter's moving to the energy of Pisces here. I think because it's in the 9th house space, this is another piece of the willingness of some kind of surrender. Like maybe you never wanted to be as part of a spiritual group, and now you're like, I need to be a part of a spiritual group so that they can help me, teach me, Jupiter, to elevate my thinking, give me new thoughts, new beliefs, new understandings of this space and the higher information between the worlds. So as we look at this new moon solar eclipse for you, I think it is a fresh start in allowing yourself to travel as spiritually light and free as you can. And the only way that we get there is through some kind of surrender. And it's not the kind of surrender that says there's something wrong with you. It's the kind of surrender, Cancer, that says by seeing that that's not yours, or seeing that that's not your business to change that, you get to actually be free and in alignment with the truth. On the 11th, we see Mars moving into the energy of Leo, which is going to light up your 2nd house space. So go get your money. Just kidding. Don't do that. Unless you are going to do that. If that's the manifestation, then feel free to use Mars to go get your money. But if not, I think that Mars in the energy of Leo asks us to act with a very big heart, asks us to act and move towards the desires of our very big heart, of what really makes us us. In the energy of the 2nd house, it's going to ask you, Cancer, what are your values, that you're motivated and you're driven, and your desires, what are they, and are you in alignment with them, and is that how you're making money as well? Now, because Mars is here in the energy of Leo, one of the things I keep thinking right now too is that I don't know if you have a person in your life who's maybe at a distance, or it's work that you have in a distance. It's something that's important to your heart, your Leo, and it's at a little bit of a distance. So you're trying to realign with the value of that particular thing. And it could genuinely be that you work out of town, or you work remote or far from your actual place of employment. And it's like, but it would be important to your heart. So however that manifests, and whoever that is manifesting for, whatever that distance is, Cancer, you've had this thread for the last couple of readings of still having that distance, but now it's about having a value around it. And I really think that truly the value just comes down to what's in the heart of Cancer, okay? On the 14th, we're going to see Saturn and Uranus having their second of 3 squares to one another. Now, we saw the first one in February. We're going to see this one happening now, and then we'll have the last one at the end of the year. So the good news about this is that you've already seen it. You've already been working on it. Now, this square between your 8th house and your 11th house, I think, is profound. I think it's absolutely profound, Cancer, because I think at a very intimate, personal, vulnerable level, what this particular square says to you is that you have to innovate. You have to innovate. You've got to let go of the way you've been doing vulnerability. You got to let go of the way or the ideas around how you've been doing vulnerability or joint connection. And you have to get them a lot more in alignment with an innovative long-range plan for yourself. And the way that may be happening, maybe your spirituality is getting clicked on because your spirit is like, we don't know how to do this. We've got to get to a grouping of people, or we have to reform our joint connection so that we can have solid, liberating, long-range plans for our future. But whatever it is, I think that this digs so deep, Cancer, into some form of healing, some form of vulnerability that is only coming from something at maybe a group level. Either you're going to them and they're teaching you how to do it, even if you didn't want to be a part of that group, or it could also be that you're detaching in some way from a group in order to heal, in order to rebuild this 8th house co-intimacy kind of area. I think this is a very frustrating but very personally intimate, and ultimately will be inventing the Cancerian areas of vulnerability for you. Now, on the 20th, we've got a little bit of a busy day. We've got the sun moving into the energy of Cancer. So I tell you, on the heels of some energy that is definitely pulling frustration, happy birthday, and welcome to the solstice. Whether it is summer or winter where you are, welcome to the solstice. Cancer, you're a cardinal energy, so you are bringing this fresh breath, this new pace of things into the season. Plus, it's your annual beginning. So I hope all of the vulnerability work you've been being challenged with, or the joint resource work that you've been being challenged to take more seriously and really get in there with, I hope it seems worth it as you come into your birthday time. Now, we're also on this particular day going to see Jupiter stepping into retrograde in that energy of Pisces at 23 degrees. Now, again, this is an alignment that has touched into your ninth house space: publishing, marketing, broadcasting, higher education, foreign travels. But also, and more intimately, and more importantly, I think that Jupiter and Pisces touching in here has said, Cancer, we need to talk about faith. We need to talk about what we believe. We need to talk about the philosophies that ground us here, because these will also be those same things that we're going to need to go to grow after we've done all of this intimacy and this healing and this letting go and surrendering of things that just aren't ours, things that can't come forward with us anymore. Where are we going to take and expand our mind? And I think that it is truly done this year and next year for you, Cancer, through alignment with spiritual groups, or alignment through things that absolutely inspire you in some way, shape, or form, okay? On the 22nd, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde at 16 degrees of Gemini, so lighting up your 12th house space back here. So now you've got some thought process, the mind, the communication, the listening, the learning, coming back online in this 12th house space. So as Mercury is coming out of retrograde, maybe what you're a little bit more prepared to do now is you've had a review of the past. You've had a review of being willing to, maybe needing to be willing to let go of old thoughts that were driving you, old conversations, old beliefs. And now as Mercury is forward, you're ready to talk about them, Gemini. You're ready to share about them. You're ready to learn a new pattern of thinking, a new spiritual practice, a new set of mantras or chants, or something that is coming into your very vocal, communicative space around Mercury coming out of retrograde. Of course, if you needed to sign contracts or anything like that, it's also much better now that Mercury's out of retrograde. On the 24th, we're going to have a full moon in the energy of Capricorn at 3 degrees, so right across the street in your 7th house space. Now, the full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted, okay? So in your conscious chosen one-on-one relationships, what's needing to come to an end? And it doesn't mean that your relationship is going to break up. If it already had cracks and leaks and all of that stuff and you haven't been willing or able to fix it, yes, a relationship could end. But a perfectly good relationship could also be ending a cycle that it's in and beginning another one. Because all Capricorn wants to know here is this relationship helping us achieve? Are we serious about it? So maybe you stop being girlfriend, boyfriend, 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 whatever your couple combination is, and you're ready to take it to another level and achieve maybe in a marriage or something more committed. I mean, it is a Saturnian ruled full moon. And at this particular moon, Saturn is in nice connection with Mercury. So you could be making a commitment, or you could be having a very serious conversation that changes the direction of everything, you know? It's hard to find the right time sometimes to say the thing you know is gonna change everything. But I think that this moon and this lunation is definitely a call to it, especially because it's harmonizing with Jupiter, who's going to want to expand. So it's some very conscious connection and relationships that you're taking on here, okay? As we get to the 25th, Neptune's going to move into its retrograde in the energy of Pisces. Again, they're in the 9th house space, and this will be at 23 degrees. When Neptune goes retrograde, the world feels like, boom, this is the world. It doesn't feel daydreamy. It gets very concrete, like, yes, this is reality. So this is the aspect for you in the 9th house where I'm like, you're squarely confronted with an issue of faith, or you're squarely confronted with who you are and how your principles are allowing you to live out in the world. Now, Neptune retrograde in the 9th house as well. If you were wanting to travel, or let's say that you're like an expat or something, you're living someplace foreign from where you are from, this could make the world around you seem a little bit heavier. But it's not heavy like, oh, this is so sad and doldrums or anything like that. But it's like, this is the reality. This is the reality of this situation. And this is the reality that I will need my ideals to realign with for me to be a part of this situation, part of the world, part of this broadcast, part of the whatever. It's genuinely a calling from the inside out for a rearrangement of ideals, because you see in flat reality, no delusion available, that something seems maybe amiss. But it's amiss because it's trying to show you the fullness of the next reality that I think is available for you, okay? As we end this month on the 27th, we're going to see Venus move into the energy of Leo. It's moved out of your sign, but hopefully it was a good month with Venus traveling with you. Venus in the energy of the second house. Venus is very comfortable in the second house. She actually loves to come on over here. But now in the energy of Venus, it's very big heart, truly bringing that money your way, truly bringing your opportunity to be a little bit in demand. It's like, here's your big heart, and now by showing your big heart, by taking it out there, you're able to bring a different level of value or demand a different amount of value at your table. Now, this doesn't have to be money. This can be that you've had a rearrangement, you've had a spiritual awakening, you brought something out of hiding, and now it's able to get treated as a part of a daily routine or put into a discipline and a practice in your daily routine, and this is actually setting you free. It's like allowing your big Leo heart energy to live here. Now, for some of you too, it will be that you are spending extra money in this second house arena because something costs more, or the desire of what you have, you're taking a risk with that particular set of money. And I would just tell you, be very mindful of that as we are ending out June, just because Mercury has only, just a few days earlier come out of retrograde. So the energies are not always stable. It's the most unstable around the stationing. But I still feel like up to a week after Mercury's come out of retrograde, if we can avoid making really big purchases, sometimes that's better. But you know your money better than I do. You do what you need to do. But certainly Venus here in Leo shows you that when you live from your big heart, it's a much more valuable way to add something good to the planet. All right, my beautiful Cancerian friends, happy birthday. I love you a ton, and I look forward to seeing how this month and these energies, you're interacting with them to shape and reshape and celebrate the work and the vulnerability that you've done already, okay? Bye, my friends.